I'll throw this at you. The duality of football. So the transfer portal and NIL. So you're going to get different players. There'll be entitlement. There'll be one of the things I hear about coaches. Saban says this, like, listen, if you're going to just transfer every time you got a problem, you don't have that thick skin and that kind of metal that this sport requires. Quarterbacks especially, Chris, and I've noticed this for a decade. If a kid goes to a program and they bring in another kid, he'll transfer 6 months into the program. Like, I'm not getting snaps, I'm out. That's pretty precious. Do you sense a little bit of that? Like, hey, dad's hovering over the program. I don't get a start. I worry that you're going to lose sort of that innate 80s, 90s sort of like, because the media is harder, social media is more brutal, coaches are tough, and yet you're kind of grooved into a starting job in college and not challenged much. Do you worry all about that?
Absolutely, I do. And this will, all right. So look, there's always some extenuating circumstances why guys transfer. But the one thing that bothers me is we're making it's so easy to transfer now. Like we're teaching kids it's okay to quit when it gets a little hard. When there's a little competition there, it's you know what, Dad, you know what, I'm out. I don't want to stay and compete. And that's the wrong, like football, like what it gives us, Colin, like what this game gives kids playing it teaches all the right things. And I tell our guys here, that, when football's over, like you've got a skill set that the rest of the other people don't have. I think you've learned how to work. You've learned how to persevere. You've learned to work in a team. You've learned to solve problems. Like all these cool things you've learned, you're going to be able to apply in the real world, whatever your passion is. But now we're saying, okay, it's okay. You know what? I'm not the starter. So instead of just grinding it out, I'm going to transfer. Could you imagine if Tom Brady would have transferred from Michigan? Like he had every reason to. He was a highly recruited quarterback. He had to grind. Like I would tell you, and I don't know Tom well enough to ask it, but if you ask Tom Brady what helped make him who he is today, I think grinding through what he had to grind through at Michigan was part of it. People don't want the hardness of the journey. They want the success and it to be handed. And it is the absolute wrong message that we're sending today. It's bothersome. It's really bothersome.
Yeah, psychologists will tell you that, kids will say today, I want to be happy. Well, the action comes before the feeling. So you get happy accomplishing stuff. It doesn't work the other way around. And like to me, I like fulfillment. I get it finishing a project. Like the journey is what I like, right?
It's no different, Colin, than like everybody wants to be I don't know. I didn't exactly grow up wanting to be a GM. I got lucky and fortunate, but like, okay, I'll have people ask me, well, I want to be a GM one day, but I want to do it on this time frame. But do they want to be a GM and go work in Kingsville, Texas for $12,000 a year for 7 years? Do they want to go work for the Chicago Bears and be an area scout for 11 years? Do they want to grind up? Like they see the top level, but they don't understand all the things that came in between to get there. And there's a lot of work and sacrifice. Like people want the ultimate result without the work and without the sacrifice and without the struggle and without the failure. Like that's what I worry about. I worry about that we're not teaching that anymore.